This next contest is a six-man tag team match scheduled for one fall. Now in this contest, whoever takes the losing fall will be forced to leave Premier Championship Wrestling forever.
This is a moment I didn't think we would get to, but the stakes escalated quickly between these two factions. It's been called a turf war. The two groups that feel they're the most dominant in Premier history about to do battle. LeRusso wants all the spotlight. Chris LeRusso wants all the glory. Chris LeRusso wants all the championships. Chris LeRusso wants everything to be about him in Premier Championship Wrestling. And when he proclaimed him and his court as the most dominant group because of the stranglehold they've had in the Premier Championship in Ron Mathis, with the fact that they feel that the main event, Duke and Gannon, are the next uncrowned tag team champions, man, that rose the ire of a group that has completely dominated Premier since almost its inception. My question, LeRusso is very resourceful and calculated, but is he ready for war with men who have fought on these streets their whole lives?
Well, Joe, that's certainly what we're going to find out. And can you blame Chris LeRusso for wanting it to be all about him? I second that. I'd be right there with him. You can't blame him. It's not his fault.
Certainly surrounded himself with people to get the job done. Some new battle fatigues, but the same mentality from the culmination. Remy LaVey in the middle, Atticus on the right, Otis the left. And I'll be the first to say, I have not been a big fan of the culmination. Atticus and I may never ever get along, and the culmination has done more to cause pain and turmoil in this company than anybody. But you know as well as I do, I don't exactly jump on the Chris LeRusso fan club either. I'm going to do the best I can to call this as a journalist, call it as I see it, because the stakes are huge. No matter what side you're on, no matter which faction you believe is the most dominant, no matter which faction you believe is the most detrimental, these men's lives will change after this match forever.
Well, no doubt about it. One of these groups is going to lose one of their soldiers. And I mean, you think about it. This will be the last time that we see one of these six men here in Premier. And I know personally the idea of a Premier Championship Wrestling without Chris LeRusso, Gannon Jones Jr., or Duke Davis hurts my soul.
And the idea of a Premier Championship Wrestling without Remy, Otis, or Atticus, it's almost difficult to even imagine. It was the third event in this building that the culmination was formed.
You know, you think about what we saw that night. We saw the Cogars, but we also saw the change in Remy LaVey, brought on by Gory, who victorious earlier tonight. Do you think that gives the culmination any momentum going through right now?
I think it very potentially does. The culmination are not afraid of any challenge, as Remy LaVey and LeRusso battle center ring. This actually was a matchup on the very first Premier event in Turner's Hall. Remy, LeRusso, Gannon as well, all part of Event 1 in Turner's for Premier. One of them could see their Premier career ended. Remy the takedown of LeRusso, but the culmination have always been headstrong. They have always had belief in themselves, and they have used that mentality to turn this place inside out numerous times, to end careers, to take championships, to damage livelihoods. Remy the dropkick. Remy is feeling it. Into the cover here to a no. And BC, every pinfall is important. But Shoulders down again. In every match, every pinfall is important, but even more important now, because one fall is all it's going to take. It's not going to be elimination. It's not going to be a team leaving. If you're pinned or if you submit, if you're disqualified, if you're counted out, you're done. As Atticus walks the ropes with a menacing look on his face, with unmatched agility in this matchup, but Atticus walks into the elbow.
You know, all 6 of these
On
individuals...
LeRusso, a salute to Atticus! And that's what happens when you play the Cogar game plan against them.
All 6 of these individuals have goals collectively and individually, and if they're looking further down the line than what's in front of them right now, they may not have an opportunity to achieve those goals.
It's the heir apparent. It's the leader. It's the man that feels he deserves it all, and the man who grew up with nothing. Atticus connects high, now low. Atticus the knee.
Joe, this could be it.
LeRusso is down. LeRusso's beaten.
Could you imagine what that would do to Chris LeRusso?
Oh, I think LeRusso would never psychologically recover. I think the locker rooms and the boardrooms and the hallways would be a lot quieter as the tag into Big Otis, the powerhouse of the culmination. That low center of gravity as he just drops LeRusso hard.
And let's shift from LeRusso for a second. What if we lost one of the main event? What would that do to LeRusso?
That puts LeRusso as a target. LeRusso dropped with a forearm. Otis the cover, and LeRusso 3 or 4 times has been in danger of losing his premier career thus far.
And the other side of the coin, we got the culmination, well-oiled machine. It seemed to be focused in the right direction right now. Gory vanquishing Crimson. We saw that handshake there at the end. So you'd have to think that that chapter is closed and focusing on new goals.
LeRusso gets out, tags quickly. Keep in mind, LeRusso was the one that set the stipulation that the loser of the fall leaves as Duke Davis gets caught in culmination territory. And this turf war finds Duke as the away team.
And I'll tell you, that's a smart move right there. I got to give it to the culmination. If you got a guy who's 6'5", you know he's going to have the size advantage. You got to stick and move, hit him from all sides.
These rapid fire stomps. Exacting all of their anger, all of their retribution on Duke Davis. Then it was LeRusso that set the stipulation. Did LeRusso know what he was getting himself into when he agreed to this fight with the culmination?
Well, I wonder if that was emotion or calculated when he started speaking. Sometimes when you talk, your mouth, I know this may shock you, but sometimes your mouth doesn't really know what's going on. The brain and mouth don't connect, and I think that might have been the case here with Chris LeRusso.
Rapid fire exchanges. Remy to Otis to Atticus and back again. Duke pushed his way out of the corner, but man, the culmination just all over Duke Davis.
This is a situation that Duke Davis doesn't see himself in very often.
Out of the lead, up to the clothesline by Atticus. Ripcord and Remy connects high. Duke is shade under 6'6". The standing moonsault by Atticus. A lateral press, but oh, look at the power of Duke. And the adjustment by Atticus. And a count of 1.
That's the smart thing for Atticus. Got to stick and move, try and stay on him. You see the difference in height.
Atticus, got caught with a knee. Ellie served to anger Atticus, who's got television to LeRusso and Gannon. That amazing reach. Came with a kick to the back of the head. Duke takes over, and Gannon in with a stomp.
And that's that smart teamwork that we were talking about earlier. You see Gannon Jones Jr. checking the play. Checking the play, Joe. Always got the strategy.
Well, he's going to need to have a flawless playbook in this outing, as Atticus has been caught. Atticus has a bad temper, there's no doubt about that. LeRusso exploiting it. LeRusso, the cerebral athlete he is, as Gannon plays on the emotions of the rest of the culmination. It's hard to deny the resume of the culmination, but you cannot overlook what LeRusso's court has done since late last year.
And Joe, you see the problems that you got in a matchup like this. You got 6 individuals, only 1 referee. So the referee went to admonish Chris LeRusso, but then he had the culmination behind him, and he's trying to create law and order as much as he can. Well, these 6, I don't think that's going to be a possibility. And all 6 men have an extra bonus, extra advantage towards this tonight because, well, like we said a number of times, one of them, their career here in Premier is done.
Atticus's career could be done now, but gets the shoulder up very quickly. You don't want to be caught unaware. You don't want to be caught sleeping. If you're half a second late on a kick out, if the referee's count was a hair quicker than you expected it, you don't want a technicality to end your career. Check out the main event. As Gannon passes Atticus to Duke, that's insane power.
And Joe, let me ask you a question. You mentioned it earlier. We know the story with you and Atticus. We saw what had happened. How satisfying would that be for you to see his final night here?
I'm not an Atticus fan in any stretch of the imagination. Falcon Arrow, Duke Davis connects. I refuse to play favorites in this matchup. All 6 of these men have had their own hand in making things difficult in Premier from a political standpoint, from a physical standpoint, a psychological standpoint. They all want dominance. They all want control. And when you're the head of wrestling operations, that's a conflict of interest. I'm happy they're fighting it out amongst themselves. From a talent standpoint, I hate to see one of these men leave, but perhaps Premier's not big enough for all 6.
Well, that certainly may be the case. You know, Joe, here, not to look ahead, but we still have the Premier Championship matchup tonight. So you'd have to think that for the LeRusso camp, Ron Mathis is a little off as he might be.
There's a cover. Atticus, again, a very quick kick out. Does not keep his shoulders on the mat any more than they need to be. Again, Atticus, I could write a book about my issues with Atticus, and one day I may, but I got to give credit where credit is due as far as the fight he's displayed.
And to reiterate what I was saying earlier with Ron Mathis, what would losing one of his brothers do to him right before his title defense?
Atticus fighting his way to his feet, but LeRusso, that high kick right around the temple. That's a great point. That could throw Mathis off psychologically as he enters a matchup with 3 different opponents. That's next. Great drop kick by LeRusso. Heir apparent wants everybody to bow before him.
He's royalty here, not almost.
Incredible elevation on that leg jump. And looking at the rest of the culmination, LeRusso wants to see the pain in the eyes of the rest of the culmination as he ends one of their careers.
Well, you'd also have to think that in a matchup like this,
if LeRusso's disqualified, LeRusso's gone. That's tempting fate as well.
I'm going to say he's got that 5 count. Do you know how much your phone would blow up if LeRusso lost this on the technicality?
I can imagine.
I mean, Facebook and the internet.
LeRusso going back suplex. Atticus! There's a teaching from Gory, that thirst for flesh. Atticus is trying to work his way out of a very disadvantageous situation. He does! Lands on his feet. Shotgun drop kick, LeRusso's down. But can Atticus find his corner? The younger Cogar is in desperate need of a tag.
Joe, you mentioned earlier the punishment that LeRusso took early on. I don't know how much he's going to have left.
Atticus has found his corner. Here comes Otis. And the LeRusso tag both main event members? Duke and Gannon both looking to dominate Otis, but Otis using his size on everybody.
And you see that power of the culmination on full display right now.
Otis fighting for his family, fighting for his brotherhood. The senton connects in the corner. And you can feel the entire tide of this matchup shift. LeRusso the thrust kick. Otis got knocked out, he never saw it coming. Remy LaVey, the sling blade connects. Mind eraser coming up, LeRusso knees his way out.
Well, LeRusso knew what was coming for him. And I'll tell you, if Remy would have hit that, that could have been the end of Chris LeRusso here in Premier. Ooh, perish the thought.
Atticus the back kick, the headlock driver. Countered. LeRusso went to drop Atticus, but Atticus, a handful of face. And LeRusso's been cornered.
Joe, this doesn't bode well. This doesn't bode well whatsoever.
We are about to see Chris LeRusso's end times. His final days are upon us. It is a culmination mugging.
LeRusso has nowhere to go, and it seems no one to save him.
Get him up! It's time for that 2-1-6. The kiss of death! LeRusso's been dropped! Oh, kiss LeRusso's career goodbye, Ben! They've done it! Wait! Oh, Gannon and Duke pulled the referee!
Joe, I don't know if that one was in the playbook, but that was a smart move right there by the main event. You could have counted to 100.
Main event just saved LeRusso's career, and Remy LaVey upset about that. He's taking it upon himself, but man, he gets dropped with a chokeslam. Duke just dropped Remy while the Cogars stand guard over LeRusso. It's Atticus with a tope to the outside. It's divide and conquer. Here's Otis. The big man with a moonsault, but nobody there.
And I don't know if that was instinct or if that was Chris LeRusso knowing where he's at, but he doesn't seem to know really what's going on right now. We've got bodies on the outside. I think Remy is done.
Oh, there are casualties everywhere. This thing has completely broken down.
And a mere 30 seconds ago, I thought we were going to say goodbye to Chris LeRusso.
Otis gets dropped face first. We saw LeRusso try to do that to Atticus, and Atticus being tied in the ropes. What's this? LeRusso demanding a microphone.
Hey, big boy, why don't you squeal for me a little bit, huh? You feel like squealing? Or maybe why don't you feel like begging? Come on, help me, Atticus! Help me, brother! Help me! You know what? If you don't want to beg to your brother, why don't you beg to me? What do you got to say?
Otis defiant. Not going to be a casualty of the system. Otis wants to go to war, but he's the last man standing. No! Atticus is helpless! Otis! Otis just got pinned. See the end of Otis Cogar. Atticus is frantic. LeRusso did it. He won the turf war.
Well, Joe, that's his brother. And he had to watch it happen.
Atticus, the man that stood in this ring and accepted LeRusso's challenge, now watches as that same stipulation ends his brother's premier career. And could it be that the mind is mightier than the body as LeRusso has outsmarted the field? LeRusso and his court, you gotta say, it's the most dominant group in Premier.
Absolutely. I mean, the proof is right there. It's a look from Atticus I've never seen before.
Crimson earlier tonight. This is the last time we will ever see all four members of the combination in the same ring at the same time.
And Joe, I know it's something that we knew going in the stipulation, but it seemed the combination had everything firmly in control.
We built this company from the ground up. Couldn't have done it without you.
Tonight, there was no more Cogar brothers. Their last stand together.